Most men think attraction announces itself. They wait for obvious signs. They wait for permission. But real interest is quiet. It hides inside ordinary questions. And the man who doesn't understand them mistakes opportunity for politeness. Stay with me. By the end of this video, silence will speak clearly. 1. How old are you? Really? When you hear this, something subtle is happening. She is already aware of your age. What she is searching for is how you relate to it. Psychologists have long observed that confidence is not about denial, but integration, the ability to stand calmly inside one's reality. In social settings, men who joke about their age often believe they are disarming tension. In truth, they signal inner resistance. A former executive once described meeting his second wife at a conference. When she asked his age, he paused, smiled lightly, and answered without explanation. She later admitted it was the moment she felt his authority, not from status, but from self-acceptance. Carl Jung once said that maturity begins the moment a man stops running from who he is. Age, when owned, becomes gravity. When you recognize this question, understand it as a test of self-respect. Meet it without humor or defense. Stillness here does more than charm ever could. 2. Why aren't you married? This question is rarely about curiosity. It's about emotional safety. Research on attachment consistently shows that unresolved resentment leaks through tone, not words. Many men recount their past believing transparency requires detail. What they don't realize is that the nervous system listens faster than language. A therapist once noted how women often disengage not after hearing a story, but after sensing bitterness beneath it. Not because the man was hurt, but because he was still living there. Nelson Mandela famously said resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Women instinctively avoid men still swallowing it. When this question appears, recognize the deeper listening behind it. Respond with peace, not narrative. A calm acceptance of life lived signals readiness more than any explanation. 3. Do you date younger women? On the surface, it sounds playful. Underneath, it measures identity. Social psychologists describe this as a value alignment check. She is asking whether you define yourself by external validation or internal standards. There's a well-known story of a silver-haired actor who once responded to this question by saying he values presence more than age. The woman later shared that his answer made her feel chosen as a person, not compared to a category. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's worth is determined by what he gives attention to, not what he collects. When you hear this question, understand it as a search for recognition. Answer without comparison. Depth communicates strength far more clearly than bravado. 4. Are you always this quiet? This is a moment many men misread. Neuroscience shows that calm, regulated presence creates a sense of safety more powerful than verbal reassurance. Yet many men rush to fill silence, mistaking connection for constant output. A former intelligence officer once explained that the most commanding figures he met spoke the least, but when they did, the room leaned in. Silence, when owned, signals awareness. Bruce Lee once said silence is an answer too, and often the most honest one. When this question arises, see it as curiosity, not criticism. Stay grounded. Let your restraint show intention, not absence. 5. Do you live alone? This question scans structure. Environmental psychology confirms that personal spaces unconsciously broadcast mental order or neglect. Women often sense this before they consciously name it. A man once shared how his date lost interest not after visiting his apartment, but after hearing him describe it as just a place to crash. What she heard was disconnection from his own life. Jordan Peterson often notes that order in small spaces reflects respect for oneself. And respect is felt, not argued. When this question appears, understand she is listening to how you inhabit your world. Speak with quiet ownership. A man who has built peace does not need to advertise it. 6. What do you do for fun? This question touches vitality. Studies on long-term attraction consistently show that aliveness, curiosity, engagement, joy, sustains desire more than appearance or status. Yet many men answer mechanically, unaware of what they're giving away. A widower once described rediscovering photography late in life. When he spoke about it, his date said his eyes changed, and so did the atmosphere. Nietzsche wrote that the secret of joy is not pleasure, but strength. Strength shows in what still excites you. When you hear this question, recognize it as a search for pulse. Speak of what nourishes you. Life felt is life shared. 7. What are you looking for? This is the deepest question of all. Psychology is clear. Clarity creates trust. Vagueness creates unease. Many men believe openness means keeping options undefined. But uncertainty does not feel safe, it feels unanchored. There's a story of a man who simply said he was building a peaceful life and wanted someone aligned with that direction. The woman said she trusted him instantly, not because of romance, but because of direction. Seneca wrote that no wind favors the sailor who has no destination. When this question arrives, understand it as an invitation to stand in your vision. Speak it calmly. A man who knows where he is going never needs to convince. A quiet question reveals everything to the man who knows how to listen. If you found this video useful, subscribe to Silent Stoic, so each day you become stronger and more composed.